Lucy had surgery on Friday. I want to tell you about that. It's a story behind that, how she has the same condition I have. Before I do that, hit the subscribe button, just take a chance, and maybe if you hate this video by the end of it, you'll forget to unsubscribe, and I will unwittingly win. I would be happy with that. So, I am tongue-tied. Like, not super severely tongue-tied. I grew up, I could talk, but I couldn't stick my tongue out. Like, this is as far as it goes out. Like, to me, that feels like it's going out a long way. And I was lied to at a very early age. If you think it's not damaging to lie to kids, when I was in preschool, they asked everybody if you could touch your nose with your tongue. And I watched these other kids go, and their tongues would like go out like snakes and hit the tip of their nose. And I would stick my tongue out like this. I was like, am I close? Am I close? And the preschool teacher's like, yeah, you're close. She lied to me, and I believed her. I thought I had a normal tongue because never in my life did I stick it out like in a mirror. I guess that's just not something I do. I had better things to do, or just I was lazy or uncurious. I don't know. Whatever it was, I never looked into it further. We didn't notice until I was in 4th grade for some reason. I had to stick out my tongue in front of my parents. I don't know why or when or how. I remember we were outside, and they're like, "You can't stick out your tongue. What's wrong with you?" I'm sure they phrased it more nicely, or knowing my parents, maybe they didn't. Whatever it was, we discovered, oh, you've been alive for many years and you're tongue-tied. We never noticed. I wasn't as severely tongue-tied as some people. It didn't go all the way out to the tip. It didn't stop me from eating or learning to talk or anything else like that. In fact, my parents probably would have preferred if I talked less. But I was normal enough, but I still had this thing where my tongue wouldn't leave my mouth. So my orthodontist wrote a letter to the insurance saying this was a procedure I needed to have done and they should cover it. And the insurance said no. And that was the end of it. I was just going to be tongue-tied for the rest of my life. Does it really hold me back? You know what? There are a couple incidents that come to mind. So I had discovered, I don't remember when I think when we officially got the determination they weren't going to do the surgery. I was like in 8th grade. And shortly after that, we were playing Truth or Dare somewhere. And somewhere I blurted out, I was like, yeah, I could never French kiss anybody because my tongue won't leave my mouth. And it was just the most awkward silence in the dark. Because not only did nobody care, but it was pretty clear that nobody was ever going to kiss me anyway. So it really didn't matter. Like this is something I should have not said out loud. Definitely not said. Should not have said in front of other people. Probably shouldn't have said on the internet. But that sticks with me. Me trying to stick out my tongue in preschool, and then me saying that in Truth or Dare in 8th grade. You know, one of those odd, embarrassing moments that haunts you for the rest of your life that nobody else cares about, except on YouTube, where people still don't care, but sometimes they also leave comments. So then, you know, I kept growing up. I never did get it clipped because I thought, now even if I could get it covered, like I don't want to relearn how to talk. I don't really need that much extra tongue, except about once a year, my wife bakes cookies. And when she does this, she will hand me the end of the mixer to lick off because we are a wild and uncivilized family and we do not fear salmonella. And we will eat raw cookie dough or raw cake batter or sometimes frosting, whatever it is. We will risk death for the greater pleasures in life. So sue me. Actually, don't sue me. If I get myself killed, I don't think you can sue me for that. I think I'd have to sue myself. I think I'm okay there. But let me tell you something. This is where I realized I am truly limited in the world. She hands me this piece right here. She's like, yeah, you can just lick off the frosting. And I can't do it. My tongue will not leave my mouth. I have never felt so ineffective and limited in my life. And so I end up like smashing it up against my face, like getting it all over my beard, trying to get this off. Until one day, it finally occurred to me, why don't I just use my finger and pull off the cookie dough like that? Like this is monkey level thinking here. I'm sure a monkey would have solved this puzzle years before I did. So now that I figured out how to use my finger to get around my cookie dough eating limitations, I'm pretty much fine with being tongue-tied. So Lucy was tongue-tied to about the same degree that I am. It doesn't go all the way out to the tip of her tongue. It goes a little bit back. But again, she learned to talk all right, and she learned to, I mean, she eats evidently fine. She eats everything, but only if it's something she's not supposed to eat. If it's something that I cook, obviously, she will refuse. You know, those fun preschooler hunger strikes that come out of nowhere and last forever, yet somehow kids survive. It's a miracle. So we noticed that she was tongue-tied, and it took us a while to notice too, because it's just you don't ask your kid to stick out your tongue that much. I mean, really, you'd rather they keep their tongue inside their mouth. There's usually something in their mouth you don't want to see, but for whatever reason, we discovered one day. Actually, I think probably when we asked her to touch her nose with her tongue, we were doing something like that, and her tongue wouldn't leave her mouth. So we asked the doctor about it, and he's like, it's borderline, we'll see. And he referred us, and the specialist said the same thing. It wasn't like an emergency, but like, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? And I thought back to that awkward moment in preschool where my preschool teacher lied to me. about how far my tongue came out of my mouth. And I thought about that awkward Truth or Dare game where I talked about French kissing and there was super awkward silence. And I thought about this stupid piece of metal and how I could never lick the cookie dough off. And I said, yes, we are going to get this done. So we sent Lucy in for the procedure the other day. They spent more time in the waiting room than back in surgery. It was just like one clip, and I think they clipped a little bit of her lip down there where it connected to her mouth. And she came back and she's fine. She talks exactly the same. It's not like she was talking at the limit of her tongue. It's not like she was pushing it to the max anyway. She had learned to speak within a normal range, much as I have, much to everyone's regret. So it's pretty much the same. We've asked her to stick it out, but I think it's still a little bit sore, so she won't try to stick it out of her mouth yet. But now she has a lizard tongue, and life is good, and she can lick off all the cookie dough she wants until she dies of salmonella, and everyone on the internet says, I told you so. That's just how it goes. She's got a normal tongue now. We're moving forward. Surgery was a success. So thank you for joining me for this long and winding tale of my own failings and how I tried to fix that for my kid. Hit that subscribe button because I asked nice. And because, look at me, I'm very needy. All right, thank you.